Hello everyone, once again we meet. Today I would like to speak on the subject of the final confrontation between democracy and Islam. Before I come to this subject, there are few people who are, it's very interesting, they comment about my name. I have people accused me that from the Muslim people, they accused me that I'm using a fake name. I'm not really, I wasn't a Muslim. I was not raised in an Islamic country or Islamic tradition. And on the other side also, some people from Europe, they think why I do not change my name. My name has nothing to do with anything. However, also one person asked the question, wouldn't my name be a temptation for my children or grandchildren that they may be attracted to Islam once again? It's a good and valid question, but let me first speak about my name. My name is my name, and I'm using it, and I didn't change it because if I change it, what difference does it make if I change it? More than the name is the substance of the person. This is like if you judge a person by the color of his skin. That was the name that it was given to me, and I kept it. Simple. Now, regarding the question of being worried or concerned that my children or grandchildren may be attracted to Islam, there's no, as they say, there's no silver bullet. I cannot guarantee anything. And for example, there are many European people who joined ISIS, and these people, many of them were Christian, many of them were probably non-religious, many of them were decent people living good life in Europe. And there's especially one British guy, his name is John, who went to Syria or Iraq, I can't really remember exactly, and he is the person who is killing, beheading people. I think 10 years ago, if he had suggested to that very person, John, that he will be doing this, he would say, you are crazy. So, yes, the option is open, yes, but what I do is I educate my children and hopefully my grandchildren, and they stay away from that. But can I guarantee anything? No. No. No one can. You can do your best, but that's about it. Only you can guarantee something when you are living in a dictatorship country, because everything, you are living like in a prison in a way. You are told what to do, what to eat, and when to eat, and everything is dictated from above, and every step you take is controlled. But once you are free, once you enjoy the freedom, God-given freedom, yes, with that comes making bad choices. You could choose the wrong direction. That was from the very beginning. Today I would like to speak, I hope that was satisfactory to the people who think I should change my name or yeah, so the conclusion is I can't guarantee anything. No one can. So let's speak about today. Today's subject that I prepared is the final confrontation, or as it is mentioned in the New Testament, in, I believe, the book of Revelation, the war of Armageddon. The war of Armageddon. Whether you are religious or not, it makes no difference, because the path that the world is taking today, the direction that we are going to, it seems to be very clear that we are facing the final confrontation. And that confrontation will be like, it will make World War II like kids, like bunch of kids were playing with pistols and small guns and stuff like that. It's not that I'm trying to depress anybody, but the signs that I see, it says we are led into that direction. And the reason is, in my opinion, because the West ignored the cancer that had developed in the Middle East for so many years. Islam should have been checked long ago. However, in my opinion, there's something called the deep state. And the deep state interest is to always have a group of people willing to die in their place. And what a great idea when you have somebody like the Muslim brainwashed that you should die for Allah. So these people are ready to die. And the deep state's keeping them. Why do you think they are flooding Europe with these people? In case Europe calls for their God-given right, freedom. Because with freedom comes a responsibility, and a free person, and that was America when it was established in the beginning. If you are free, you are sovereign. If you are sovereign, you are like the king on your property, even if it's a small home, even if it's an apartment. You are the king and the queen of this small space. And the king or queen, they are to protect their sovereignty and to protect themselves and to protect their people from any invasion. And to protect yourself, you need to be armed. And that was the idea of the forefather of America when they set the Constitution of the United States of America. They put the Second Amendment as a vital element in the Constitution, that you are sovereign and you are to decide what to do in your kingdom, regardless of how small it might be. If it's a small apartment, that is your kingdom and you are the king or the queen in that kingdom. And you are to protect this. And that's why you have the right to carry arms. Don't tell me that Queen Elizabeth in Britain, her guards don't have weapons ready to shoot anybody that will threaten her life. Why? Because she is the queen. Okay? Later on, when Prince Charles take over, he is the king and he will have protection with armed people to protect him. And he can carry weapon if he wishes to do so. So because we cannot afford to hire guards to protect us, it's our duty to protect ourselves. It's our duty to bear arms and be ready to fight if somebody infringes on our freedom. And that brings us to the subject. To threaten our freedom, let's flood Europe and America and the West with that totalitarian ideology of Islam. And these people are used to get their order from above, from the caliphate. The head tells them what to do. If he says, go and blow yourself up in a church or blow up this building, they are willing to do it. And we came to that point already, that there are two, until 1989, we had the Communist Party and we had democracy, communism, and Islam. 3. Now, communism pretty much gone. So we have two how do you call that? Two forces against each other, democracy and dictatorship. And the dictatorship today is in, I wouldn't say communism so much, although there's still remnants of communism, but reality is pretty much communism is gone, except for a few countries like North Korea, Cuba, now Venezuela, unfortunately. But communism is struggling to stand. It doesn't have any more ground. What is standing strong now is democracy and Islam. And the fear is of Islam because they speak of ideology and they have the concept of establishing caliphate, which is basically the top man represent God on earth, and his word is the word of God. Hence, when he gives direction, they are willing, all the Muslims should be willing to die. And that, especially when you say that to a person in the United States, they can't comprehend this because they are still rooted in believing in freedom, in the Constitution, the freedom that it's in the Constitution granted to them. That's why you find the deep state, especially in that last election between President Trump and Hillary Clinton, and even before that, Obama, they are trying so hard to get rid of the Second Amendment in the American Constitution, to disarm people. And when you are disarmed, even you are in your own kingdom, if you cannot protect yourself and your kingdom from any invasion, and the weapon only, the guns only in the hands of the forces that it's control, whether it's the police or the army, controlled by the government, then the government can really go and subjugate anybody, and that person cannot fight back. That is the fear they have of America, and that's why they are working so hard to destroy that, to get rid of the guns. And when an incident happens, they don't say that the person was mentally disturbed or whatever the reason is. They blame the gun. The gun by itself does not hurt anybody unless it's used. You can use it to protect yourself and you can use it to kill others. And that person who recently shot the kids in the school, he was mentally disturbed and nobody paid attention to him. And this, for those who want a dictatorship, they want to destroy freedom. They don't waste time to blame the guns. This is exactly like saying, the spoon made me fat. Why? Because I ate a lot with the spoon. So the spoon, let's blame the spoon. No, the spoon doesn't make you fat. Eating a lot makes you fat. So don't blame the spoon. Okay? Now that will, the situation as I see it now, we have Like America, when it was established as a republic. And that also you can look in all of history, whether it's the Greek Empire or the Roman Empire, it starts as a republic, and then it slips into democracy. And in democracy, the majority rules, and they don't pay attention to the others. And then from democracy, it slips to socialism. America, if during the President Obama, it was slipping into socialism. And if Hillary Clinton became the president, we would definitely have become socialist nation, and they will confiscate all the guns, and then soon after it becomes communist. That's the trend. If you read the Greek Empire, it started as a republic, democracy, socialist, and then it vanishes. Same with the Roman Empire later on, republic, democracy, socialist, and then vanish. America followed the exact, when it was established, it was a republic, became socialist, and now it was almost becoming communist, and then destroyed, and that's it. That is the good side. Freedom. To be free and to establish yourself as a sovereign nation, and within that sovereign nation, you are a sovereign person in your territory. Okay. On the other hand, there are communism, socialism, and Islamic system, caliphate. These are all dictatorship. For example, Hitler's party was called the National Socialist Worker Party. Socialist. The step after socialism, always communism. Any of these people who want to be a dictator and control the world in whatever mean, whether it's religious or political or military, they always want to be the head. They want to be gods and tell everybody else. All the stupid people, they are the only ones who are enlightened, and everybody else is stupid. Hence, they are supposed to tell the peasant what to do. So, because America in a way was saved by the bell, saved, and now we can become free again. There is hope that we can go back to be a republic. Just because, before I forget, in Australia, they managed to convince people to give up their guns. They wanted to do. Hillary Clinton was speaking about that, to buy guns back from the public. Buy it back. Why? Because she doesn't want, or whoever his head is working in a dictatorship way, he doesn't want people. He or she wants the people to be passive, not to resist when they take over, when communism take over. All dictators, before they took over, they read history. All of them made sure to confiscate guns, to make guns sound evil, so people will give up their guns, and then it's very easy to control them. So that's what happened in communist countries. In Germany, if the Germans did not give up their guns, they could have actually have stood up to Hitler and said no. But he tricked them, and they are trying to trick others. However, because of freedom, we have to continue to be free. The thing is, on the other hand, there's a big number of people, mainly Muslim, and the sympathizer, the remnants of communism. They are working together with the deep state. Now it became like two blocks against each other. And in my opinion, it doesn't look a very pretty picture. It's not that I am pessimistic, but actually it doesn't look a very pretty picture. One thing I would like to say before I close, last video I spoke about that Saudi Arabia will make the hijab, that head cover stuff, optional. 1 or 2 days later I read on BBC Arabic, because if somebody wants to check this out, a prominent Muslim leader in Saudi Arabia, with permission from the king, even though they didn't say it, but this came with permission from the king, that the black cover that Saudi women wear on top of their clothes to cover the shape of their body, that now became optional. I didn't expect that. I said it will be fulfilled in 2 years, but actually 2 days later already they are opening the way, because they cannot come suddenly and say, you can take off the head cover. No, first that overall cover that covers the shape of the woman, and then I think maybe the next step, it's okay for the hair to be a little bit showing, and everyone now they start to push it a little by little until they get rid of it. And believe me, 10 years and the religion of Islam, it should be optional in Saudi Arabia, assuming that there will no physical military confrontation between the two ideologies, which I see it's either Islam changes like that, as it is happening in Saudi Arabia, and get rid of that venomous thought that Muhammad left for us, or it will be physical, bloody confrontation. I'm sorry about that. I leave you with this note, and it's not very pretty, but let's be realistic. We're not trying to fool ourselves here. Thank you very much. Have a good day.